On 3 separate occasions this season, Liverpool have failed to beat us twice at Old Trafford, once at Anfield, despite having 90 shots on goal. What is going on? Hello everyone, welcome to Pros and Cons, where we have another fantastic game to discuss and analyse. Plenty of talking points to sink our teeth into, plenty of drama to unfold, and plenty of reaction amongst the fan base that I really want to talk about. Look, the game yesterday was almost a repeat of the FA Cup game, wasn't it? Let's just, call a spade, minus the extra time and the winning goal. I thought Man United in the first half, in particular, were really, really bad. We got absolutely battered. We didn't even have a shot on target, or a shot at all, I believe, which is a tough stat when you're at Old Trafford. And even the gaffer said it after the game in the post-match press conference. We were hammered, bullied by Liverpool, overwhelmed at times. So the question is, how did we nearly manage to beat them, despite being so poor? It's such a weird game and so many things to analyse and get into. So let's start with the negatives first, and then we will end with the positives. As always, smash a like on the video. Bruno Fernandes. Now look, I'm going to be as straightforward as possible as I can with this, because there's no beating around the bush with Bruno. It's got to that point now where I keep mentioning it in every single show, and not like I expect it to kind of get through to him or anything, but I keep mentioning it and it's becoming a problem now. I am a firm believer that if your levels drop off, just regardless of what player you are, what status you have, you should be dropped and another player should be given an opportunity, right? I think most of us would agree with that if you want to kind of keep the levels of competition at, a certain standard. But from a manager's perspective, maybe Erik ten Hag's probably thinking, the type of character that Bruno is, he wants to play every game. When he's dropped, he loses his shit. He won't be happy when he's dropped, and you don't want to lose the qualities that he has permanently, so you kind of accept these dips, but you expect him to raise it. For me, he's been average all season. That isn't saying it to, for like a clickbait kind of comment, or I'm not saying that as a throwaway. I genuinely mean that he's been average all season. I say it all the time on this show, all the time. And I don't care the fact that because you scored from near the halfway line off a bad pass, that automatically, means you have a good game. He was significant in terms of when he was dropping a little bit deeper in the second half, and he was helping out, with a few tactical issues that we had. But as an overall game and an all-round, Bruno last season and the season before has been mentioned in the same breath as Ødegaard and Kevin De Bruyne. He couldn't be further away from them players if he tried at the minute. I know why ten Hag goes for this style, the transitional style, because it suits Bruno, it suits players like Rashford, even Mason Mount, who's just come in, other players like Onana, so they can push up the pitch. When you look at the players' qualities, it suits them. But Bruno yesterday, in them key moments, in them key areas in the final third, he must have missed about 5, 6, 7, 8 passes. Missed timing of a pass as well for Garnacho when he scored, even because Garnacho was slightly offside. It wasn't Garnacho's run, it was Bruno played it too late. He's not the level that he was when he first came in. And maybe, again, that's a product of the environment dragging him down. I don't know what it is. But he has been so mid this season. Take him out of the team and put Mason Mount in there, or even put Eriksen in there. Just try it for one game. I don't think Eriksen would work. I don't think he's got the legs and the mobility to press. Mason Mount is available now, so there is no excuse why you can't drop him. Or even move him out onto the wing. If you want to play him on the left-hand side, put him out, central. Then at least if he's wasting the ball, it's more higher up the pitch, and we're not getting turnovers all the time. He's been bang average, and he needs to be dropped. Rasmus Højlund gets no fucking service. Move on. The midfield. My God, I am sick of talking about this problem. I am sick of talking about this problem. It was highlighted extensively at half-time by Gary Neville, who's very... People thought he was a Liverpool fan at certain points. I noticed a lot of fans picking up on that. But Casemiro and Mainu were being dragged all over the place, which was no surprise because, like I said, it's been happening all season. Both players were part of this kind of man-marking system in the middle. McAllister and Szoboszlai were just happy playing deeper, force United to have a high midfield line, leaving loads of space so they can just cut through us. Again, we've seen prime examples of this. I would love, to sit down with the manager, Erik ten Hag, and just say, right, Erik, listen, give me the pros and cons in this system, and I can guarantee the negatives with the current crop of players that we have at the minute far outweighs the positives. So why gamble? Why gamble? Because the majority of the time, it hasn't come off. From day one, you saw this against Wolves. You saw the error in the system, and it's yet to be resolved. And every single team we come up against, whether it's the bottom of the league, a League 2 side, whoever it is, are taking advantage of it. And it's baffling. Why can't we be a little bit more pragmatic? It's naive, and it's stupid going into games with a midfield setup like that. Maybe he will keep his job, but the normal manager, having played some of the games that we've played, you look at Nottingham Forest, you look at Fulham, You look at even the Liverpool games, you look at these loads of like evidence where it's just not working. So why continue with this system? It's mind-boggling. Casemiro is finished. I've just been speaking about midfield, and he is at the heart of that, at the base of it, should I say. He was all right for the opening 20 minutes. I thought, a couple of nice passes. Positional sense was pretty good. But after that, he was so bad. He was so bad. I almost give him the benefit of the doubt in the Chelsea game because I thought, you know what? Come back from injury. Doesn't want to overexert himself and pull his hamstring again and be out for a long time. I kind of got it a little bit. But in that game yesterday, I'm talking you witnessed reckless challenges, wayward passes, strange decisions on the ball, being pulled left, right, centre again. Looked uninterested. His mobility is completely gone. This is one of the biggest drop-offs I've seen since Charlie Sheen or Lindsay Lohan or you name it. Big drop-off for Casemiro. I can't believe it from going from player of the season last year to one of the worst players this season. I think he's already in Saudi Arabia, to be honest with you, and it's a shame because he was incredible in the first year. The fact as well, just before we move on to the next one, the fact as well that position, the number 6, isn't a priority heading into this summer is a huge problem. Why is that not one of the number one things on the list? Because we're desperate for one. Chaos. It was utter madness that led to Bruno's goal, but that moment in itself completely changed the game for us, including the crowd, including the players, waking some of them up because the majority of them were still fucking asleep. It breathed life into the game. If that hadn't happened, I would have hated to have seen where the game went because it looked like Liverpool were just going to absolutely slap us. And that moment kind of forced Liverpool's hand, basically, to change the plan and the way they was going about things. And the worrying thing is, the fact that we thrive off chaos is a giant red flag. It's a giant red flag. We become reactive to each situation now, any game that we play. And someone who is a prime example of that is someone like Aaron Wan-Bissaka. He ain't a proactive player. He waits for one person to do something, reacts. Unfortunately, we had the penalty situation where he reacted in a bad way, and that's what, gave him a point and got him back into the game, essentially. United have to rely on the game falling apart to try and get anything from it. Is that not just crazy? Is that not mental? Like, this will stop the whole team progressing as a side. Even after almost 2 seasons under Erik ten Hag, the words being used now is vacuum FC, chaos, just fucking a mad box of frogs. There is no structure. There's no principles. It's every man for himself. If you get caught up in a storm, we might win, we might not. How is that sustainable? Again, right, let's talk about the positives then. I'll give you a quick stat just to kick things off, yeah? This is mad. Only Sir Alex Ferguson, with a 71.2%, has a better win rate as a Manchester United manager at Old Trafford than Erik ten Hag, who has a 70.4% win ratio. How? I don't know. Is the context of that? Yes. Is the moment, a lot of games you can go back to saying we were extremely lucky in that. Especially this year, the amount of shots we're conceding, you look at the Fulham game, it kind of almost means nothing when you really dig deep into it. But that stat's there, you take it or leave it. Willy Camboala holding his own, coming into the side when we've suffered 4 injuries to our centre-backs. I think he rose to the occasion when we needed him the most, and despite the result, I thought he put in a really, really good performance. I can remember one specific moment where Darwin Núñez, he kind of almost fed him through on goal for a little mistake, but managed to really, really good recovery pace, which I didn't realise he was that quick. He managed to get back and force Núñez to fire straight at Onana, ruining a very good chance. His decision-making was really good. He was good in tight areas. Like I said, he looked pacey. He looked like a modern centre-back. He was really, really strong. And, he was dealing with players like Szoboszlai and Mohamed Salah and barging these guys off the ball and then making the right decision once he gets it. Look, he could end up saving us a lot of money. I mentioned it in the post-match review yesterday to Chive. We've got Kobbie Mainoo in there. It's probably saved us about 70 million quid on the midfield, though, which would have been a gamble given how our recruitment's been anyway. But even Camboala as well. I know he's mentioned Todibo and Branthwaite, and I'm not saying he's the same level of them, but I'm just saying, maybe look to your academy a little bit more, bring him through, because he looks like a decent talent. And if you look at his metrics, so 100% ground duels won, 100% tackles won, 29 passes completed, 3 clearances, 2 interceptions, stepped up in the toughest game in English football, and his 3rd appearance this season. We're all forgetting, Garnacho's had a good chunk of games. He's probably played, in general, about 50, 60 games for United. This season, probably played about 30 odd. So he's got a chunk of games. He's got the back in there. Kobbie Mainoo's played 18 games for us. Camboala coming in 2-3 games for us. Madness. When you really deep it, It's madness what they're doing. And to do it in a fixture like that, in a fucking jaded back four, when the midfield's all over the place, I think he'd done a fantastic job. And he was my personal man of the match. Mainoo's catalogue. Kobbie Mainoo is starting to score some really important world-class goals this season. The one against Newport was a suave finish. The one against Wolves was a showcase of dribbling. The one yesterday was just a top striker's finish with his back to goal. I mean, if Mbappe did that or Haaland, people would still be kind of creaming over it. We are very lucky to have him this season because, as I've already discussed and touched on, the midfield has been a mess. So for him to come in at such a young age and almost boss it and do it a couple of times against Liverpool and at very tough stadiums, it's another one that can't be understated. I put a tweet out about this saying it's almost like our young players are our senior players, the ones that are keeping the reds and keeping their cool. It's really like a mad reflection it's got. I don't know what's happening, but I just hope we get the right players around him, because if we give him the platform to succeed, it could be one of England's best players and one of United's best players, given his talent. So put him on the fucking plane because the kid deserves it, Gareth. Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire. He drinks the vodka, he drinks the Jaeger. His head's fucking massive. Good performance. 8 clearances, 1 block shot, 1 interception, 5 out of 6 ground duels, 4 out of 6 aerial duels. Is a top player when he's defending deep. I don't think there's any longevity in it. If we want to kind of play this proactive, pressing, high line, if we want to play that kind of game, he can't fit in that system. He has his weaknesses. We all know him. I don't need to go through it. But in fairness to him, I think since he's had his captaincy stripped, he's managed to get his head down, focus, get back in the lab, if you will, train hard, not go on social media and moan about anything despite the abuse that he's receiving online. And he's come back and he's been in really good form. He's had a player of the month, I believe, this season. And I'm really pleased for him because there was at many points in his career where he could have threw the towel in. He cried like a couple of the babies that we've already had at the club. But he showed character, and you can't really ask for more from a player. Even, if you listen to Ollie talk about him, he loves him. He absolutely loves him because he'll play when he's got a sprain, or he'll push through certain pain barriers. He always try and makes himself available for selection. He'll always put his head in where it hurts. I know he's got a big one, and he performs well. Like, he's good defensively. But when you talk about mobility, pace, proactive, not the best. And he's not amazing on the ball. He can do that, lovely switch of play. But, there's better centre-backs out there on the ball. But for what we need and what we've got in a minute, you can't really ask for better, We are stripped down to the bare bones at defence. And if he wasn't available yesterday, it could have been a massive, massive mess. So, despite all this, I think fair play, Harry Maguire. You deserve it. Well done. You performed really, really well. The conclusion. Look, not long until the season ends now. We haven't got much to hope for because Champions League's completely gone, so you can forget about that. It's probably going to be we might end up in that again. And if we do, we do. It's not great. But I think we need to build and we need time to get back to where we want. How long is it going to be? 18 months, 12 months, 6 months? Nobody knows really, but we've got, 7, 8 games left to the end of the season. We've got, it'd take a massive drop-off from Villa or Spurs to not get Champions League football. So that's already gone out of my mind. FA Cup semi-final against Coventry is massive. You get into that, a final, people say anything can happen. It depends what team you get. If we get Man City in the final again, even if we get players back, it's a tough, tough mountain to climb. And if you lose that again in the final to your rivals, it's another massive, giant dagger in the stomach. So I don't even want to get ahead of myself too much there. We play Bournemouth next on Saturday. 5:30 kick-off. And the last time we played Bournemouth, we got beat 3-0. Honestly, ask yourself this, and I'll leave you with this. Would you be surprised if that happened again, given how, some of the results have been gone? You look at the Chelsea game, the Fulham game, Nottingham Forest, Brentford. Like, the list is endless. Would you be surprised if that happened again? And that is why we don't deserve Champions League football. We don't. Simple as that, we don't. I think the majority of the fan base would have taken a draw before that Liverpool game yesterday. So I'm obviously happy with the draw. I'm happy we've put a little bit of a fork in the road. But again, you do the hard bit, you get yourself above, you go 2-1, and then Wan-Bissaka makes that stupid tackle, and we drop points. We dropped 15 points in the past 3-4 games, I think it is. 15 points. If you win that game at Brentford, you manage to just keep it watertight. Same thing with Chelsea, which is more than avoidable. Liverpool's a little bit different because he was on our next from the start. But if you manage to get them points in, you're talking about Champions League, you're fighting for it. So that's why I'm at ease now with actually, you know what, we don't deserve it. So, you know, I don't care now. I'm done with it. I've washed my hands. Let's get a trophy and let's just see how high we can finish. Let me know what you think, please. Get it in the comments section. Leave a like on the video for us, and I'll see you guys for the next installment of Pros and Cons.